I had just finished teaching a young deputy the heart math system. It's something that we do in my office to every new employee, along with a lot of other things. But anyway, I just finished teaching this deputy the heart math techniques, heart focused breathing, quick coherence. We cover freeze frame also, but the one that's most applicable is heart focused breathing. So this deputy had just started with us, and but he'd been a law enforcement officer for about a year, came to us from another agency. And as he came into our agency, just as we were about to hire him, we got notified of a very serious complaint of misconduct. We had already hired him. It would have been easy to just let him go in the probationary period based on the complaint, but I didn't want to do that. I wanted to at least find out if there was some truthfulness to it and give him due process. So we started an internal investigation. It's a long entry to your question, but during the internal investigation, I could hear the investigator in the next room going at this new deputy about his responses to questions. The new deputy was very nervous. It was a very a serious allegation of sexual misconduct. So I'm sure it took him by surprise. We eventually concluded it was not true, but to hear that and be questioned about it, your first week of employment, it had to be very stressful for him. So he was answering questions, but he was answering them in a way that was confusing the internal investigator. And what I heard the internal investigator say was, that breathing stuff the sheriff teaches, you might want to try it right now because what you're telling me isn't making sense, and this is not going to end well for you if you don't get yourself together. At that point, I kind of left. I didn't want to hear anymore, so I was hearing it through the wall, but I kind of left my office that was adjacent to the interview room. But later on, I asked the interviewer what had happened and how that went. And he said, the guy was just nervous. He was a wreck. We had obviously knocked him off his heels a little bit, and he just was having a hard time keeping his thoughts straight. And what he was saying wasn't making sense because he was so upset. So I just told him to try that breathing stuff. I said, well, what did this guy do? And he said he sat back, he closed his eyes, and I could see him breathing. He took about 4 or 5 breaths. He said, I don't know what he was doing internally, but what I saw him do was take about 4 or 5 breaths, and then he opened his eyes and he answered the rest of my questions, and I was able to clear him of any wrongdoing by the end of the interview. But to me, it's a great example of, we teach these tactics to handle challenges, and most people would think that the challenges involve use of force, weapons, pursuit driving, a lot of the high risk things that we do. But this lieutenant, because he was aware of the technique, was able to coach somebody in the midst of an internal investigation, which is more likely to happen routinely in a police officer's career than all those other things. And he was able to use the technique to calm himself to the point of being able to address a serious claim that was being made against him. It's a great example, in my opinion, of adapting in the face of stress. If law enforcement officers don't have training and some type of a skill that they can use in that situation, then the only thing they can rely on is what evolution has given them. And in our case, that's the autonomic nervous system. It prepares us for fight or flight. And in that case, it leaves that deputy with 2 choices. You can fight this investigation or try to run from it. But having a skill set that allows you to manage yourself in the midst of something like that is a great example of resilience in the midst of a challenge. If it's in the bloodstream of an organization, you can have a leader in the organization, in this case, a mid-level lieutenant grade leader, be able to help a young officer with some very basic training, just bring it to his attention and allow him to apply it in that situation. But it requires an organization to really take these types of things into their bloodstream, so to speak, and make them part of the culture.
The fight-flight biological response is a self-preservation mechanism that can save your life when it's truly threatened. But anytime your ego, your mind, your sense of self feels threatened, rather than responding with emotional fight-flight, getting aggressive verbally, or shutting down and withdrawing, we can move ourselves to a higher state of understanding, a greater space of clarity by simply connecting to the present moment. The easiest technique to stop the flow of hormones, the surge of chemicals, and the swirl of emotional turbulence is 16 seconds to clarity. In any moment, close your eyes and watch your breath as it moves into your nose as you inhale. Watch it go down deep into your lungs, and when it gets there, hold it and watch it and witness it. And then release that breath and watch it as it moves up your chest, out through your nose again, and hold that breath out and continue to observe it, to watch it, to witness it. Do that 4 times, and it's only a minute, and you will shift yourself from emotional fight-flight to the clarity of the moment, where you'll be more impeccable with your words. You won't be taking things personally. You'll be more objective. You'll be more purposeful, and you'll allow the spirit of the warrior and the heart of the guardian to lead you to the best decision. Remember, the key is watching your breath. Watch it as it flows in. Watch it as you hold it. Watch it as you exhale. And watch it as you hold that out. Let's practice it one more time. Through your nose, take a long, slow, deep breath in and watch that breath go down deep into your lungs. Hold it there. Observe it. Watch it. Release it and witness it as it flows back out through your nostrils. Hold that breath out and continue to witness it. Continue to watch it. Continue to observe it. And now breathe normally and open your eyes. For 16 seconds, you are in the present moment, and there is no fight-flight when you're fully present. And now you can move with greater clarity, greater purpose, greater strength, greater compassion, and greater understanding.